Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man marked for death killed in St. Elizabeth. Police are probing the murder of a man who they say was marked for death by a gang in the Spring Park community near Black River on Saturday. Police named the deceased as 30-year-old Chadwick White, a resident and neighbor of Spring Park. A police report said about 9:15 a.m., White was shot dead by gunmen traveling on a motorcycle. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Superintendent Dwight Daly said White was on bail for charges of murder, illegal possession of firearm, and assault at common law. He was appearing before the St. Elizabeth Circuit Court, said Daly. The police chief added that White was warned to leave Spring Park. Based on police intelligence, he was advised to leave his community as he was marked for death by members of the speculation gang. He, however, returned to the community yesterday morning. Without the knowledge of the police, whilst there he was killed, added Daly. This latest murder follows May 13 shooting of 5 people at a bar in Spring Park. ExCop dies in Westmoreland crash. And ExCop died from injuries he sustained in a crash in Westmoreland on Saturday morning. The deceased has been identified as 27-year-old Greg Morgan from a Piper's Corner address in the parish. Reports are that Morgan was driving his motorcycle when it collided with a white station wagon traveling in the opposite direction about 1:30 a.m. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The deceased brother, Michael Morgan, said that his brother got along with everybody. "You can't dare so have a straight face around my brother," noting that he was a jovial person. "My head left my body when I got the news of his death," the distraught brother recalled. His brother said he and his deceased brother were playing last night like little children, only to get the sad news of his passing hours later. Him say, "Hook me up no little brother, me love you, no," and said to him, "Soon come," he added. Morgan's grandfather, Rupert Guthrie, told reporters that his grandson did not deserve such a gruesome death. "Me feel sorrowful. Him should have never died like that. Him gone too soon," shared a distraught Guthrie. He described his deceased grandson as a jovial and kind young man. Christine Baker, Morgan's neighbor, shared the same sentiment. "Him no deserve this kind of death. I don't know who don't feel it in this community here," she said. "Yesterday, a boy took the key from his bike and said, 'Them bike here go kill you.' Look like the boy saw his death coming," she explained. As of May 20, the country has recorded 157 fatal crashes, 11 of which happened in Westmoreland. Since the start of the year, 47 motorcyclists have been killed. 6 of them were from Westmoreland. Police investigating murder of Old Harbour man. The police in Old Harbour, St. Catherine, are investigating the murder of a man along Shoppers Lane in the community last night. Dead is 20-year-old Gerald Beckford, a laborer from Shoppers Lane. Police say the incident took place about 9 p.m. When reporters visited the southwestern St. Catherine community, the air was still tense and the spot of blood seemed already still fresh where the deceased received the fatal bullet. His visible shaken father, Desmond Beckford, described his narrow escape from the deadly attack. "It's right here, so I dive off. When me hear the man say, 'Don't move,' I shot him," Beckford said, pointing to bushes where he made his escape. "I was trying to stop him, Gerald, from walking on the road. I say that him a go for a woman, and that is when them shot him. Me not supposed to drink, and see that what me have to do right now." The father said that he was aware that his son was involved with a 17-year-old girl from the community. "Him get threat before him get the gunshot. It really bad, but God not sleeping," Beckford said. Other community residents told reporters that Beckford prepared charcoal for a living. "Yes, him work with him father and burn coal. Him don't make trouble, so it really a sad thing inside the community," Marcus Clark, a resident, stated. Deputy Superintendent of Police Mark Harris said the police have intensified the investigation and are intent on apprehending the person or persons involved in the murder of Beckford. Reporters were informed that there have been 9 murders in Old Harbour subdivision since the start of the year. Take precaution against Sahara dust, says ODPEM. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, is cautioning members of the public to guard against the effect of Saharan dust, which is once again impacting the island. members of the public, and particularly persons who are already experiencing respiratory illnesses and those who are prone to respiratory illnesses should exercise great care by observing the following precautions. Staying indoors as much as possible. Wear a face mask. Wear protections for the eyes. Cover water used for domestic purposes including drinking and food preparation. Exercise caution when driving in areas of low visibility. Keep windows and doors closed to reduce dust population. Cover food items in the house to prevent dust contamination. Persons with respiratory illnesses should be guided by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Keep hydrated, especially if working outside. Persons with underlying respiratory illness should ensure they have medication at hand. ODPEM said it is monitoring the situation and will advise as it becomes necessary. No plans to merge JCF and JDF, says Chang. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang says although there has been an increase in joint operations between the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF and the Jamaica Defence Force JDF, there are no plans to merge them into one entity. Dr. Chang, who was addressing the Jamaica Police Federation's 79th Annual Conference virtually last week, said because of the urgent need to bring crime under control, the JDF has been providing increased assistance to the police, notably in the zones of Special Operations ZOZO and in other emergency situations. There is no intention to merge the JCF into the JDF at any time. There is no intention to diminish the role of the police force in relation to territorial law enforcement, vice versa, the Jamaica Defence Force, he said. The Jamaica Constabulary Force spans the entire country and covers the entire spectrum of the law enforcement. The JCF has over 200 facilities, in which there are 186 police stations, and is the primary symbol of the legal authority of the government in our communities. That stands out for the police and cannot be changed, nor will we make any effort to change that, Dr. Chang told the conference. The minister dismisses, a grossly misleading, if not unfair, the comparison of resources provided for the Army versus the JCF. It's two different organizations. They are all Jamaicans, and I don't wish to adopt the practice to divide and rule. The Army is a much smaller organization and has a smaller span with two operational bases at Upper Camp in Kingston and Burt Barracks in Montego Bay, and some training in Monique, he pointed out. The police force is not a second cousin of the ministry. It is a primary responsibility of the ministry. We only provide administrative services to the Ministry of Defense, he added. The minister said the administration is pursuing the transformation of police facilities, recognizing that a modern and efficient police force requires fit-for-purpose tools to get the job done. He noted that the modernizing of facilities, along with the internal restructuring of the force, being spearheaded by the Commission of Police to optimize performance, is positioning the JCF to be the more capable, competent, equipped, and efficient law enforcement agent in the region with strong professional community presence. Tread carefully in granting amusement license, says Lucy Mayo. With the island now into its fifth wave of COVID-19, municipal and health officials in Hanover are now directing their attention towards amusement events as a means of assisting in controlling the spread of the virus in the parish. Medical Officer of Health, MOH for the parish, Dr. Singh, continues to implore residents to follow health protocols of wearing masks, social distancing, regular sanitization, along with getting vaccinated. In the meantime, Mayor of Lucy and Chairman of the Hanover Municipal Corporation, HMC, Sheridan Samuels, argued that the HMC should adopt a more vigilant attitude with regards to the approval of amusement license applications that are sent to the corporation for approval. Records show that since January 2022, approximately 68 applications have been submitted to the HMC for approval, 4 in January, 1 in February, 6 in March, 26 in April, and 31 for May, up to the time of the meeting. I know this is an administrative and internal matter, but as it relates to the amusement license, we have to be careful in the way we go about issuing this amusement license, Samuels cautioned. We have to be careful, go out there and look at the type of events that are planned and the venues before we actually give out these licenses. So that is a discussion that we will have to have in a different forum, Samuel stated, at the May monthly meeting of the corporation. He said that he is aware of a lot of functions taking place across the parish, many of them being advertised on social media, while expressing the view that many of the promoters are not going through the proper channels to get approval. There are a lot of different functions taking place, with music playing all over the place, so we really have to get vigilant as it relates to these functions that are taking place, Samuels emphasized. Singh argued that even though mask wearing is no longer compulsory, persons should continue wearing a mask whenever they are in groups. The COVID-19 situation in the parish of Hanover is, if you compare last month April with the month of May, we have 88% increase in the number of new cases. In April, we are up to 129 new cases. Our summation is that we don't have many serious cases right now, but the figure is itching up, the MO8 stated. He said that a number of healthcare workers are getting tired and some sick, adding that fortunately, the Hanover Health Department is not overwhelmed by the COVID-19 situation up to now. It is not for lack of sensitization. The message is out there in all different forms, but I am asking persons, if you see somebody in any group without a mask, just ask them to put one on. Singh advised as he urged persons to get vaccinated. He said if the situation of the increasing infection rate continues and residents let their guard down, it can create a very difficult situation for the health services in Hanover. Although not giving any figures, Singh stated that there has been a slight increase in the take-up of the COVID-19 vaccines within the parish from March into April period, adding that the take-up of the vaccine by a higher percentage of the total population of the parish would be more ideal. I urge the population to take the vaccine and follow the protocols, he emphasized. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.